Welcome everybody. We have the brand new LG G5 here, which I've used for a few days now. It's a beautiful smartphone with a decent price and is the premium flagship device now by LG that's been out for a few weeks with special technology here in the back. You can see we have two cameras. More about that in a second. First of all, you can see that this device is beautiful, and we have one special thing about it that it makes it more special than a Samsung, Sony or a HTC flagship Android product or any other Chinese company that's out there right now and trying to be better than the brands that have been out there since day one. So LG G5 is one of the only devices still with a premium brand or premium phone where you can exchange the battery. You can see that beautifully here in the package, where you can just easily show everybody, or I can show it to you guys. See that we have the phone, and you can just take off the bottom part to exchange the battery and put maybe even something else on the bottom, like for example a camera grip here, one LG France product. You can recognize that by this little cat with the little sunglasses, but more about that in a second when we continue taking a look at this premium product by LG. So we have the LG G5 here with beautiful phone with 5.3-inch screen on the front, which is also double tap enabled. Then we have a metal body that's a unibody. Some people said that it's not completely made out of metal, it's plastic, and there's just some metal brushed on the top, which sounds a little bit strange, and it seems at all the edges that it's a complete metal body, so I'm not sure what to say about those rumors. So we have a fingerprint reader on the back, and this is actually also the on and off switch, so if you press this for a long time, the phone will ask you if you want to turn it off, for example. But yeah, the fingerprint reader is also quite quick, and we don't want to turn it off, so let's just continue here with the hardware a little bit, where we will show you guys, for example, that it's really a slim phone, 5.3-inch big, or in slimness it's 7.7 millimeters, a little bit thinner than a Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge, for example. You can see it here, especially from the top, that the LG and the Samsung are quite similar in thickness. But the LG has, for example, also an infrared sensor. The headset jack is on the top, and then on the bottom we have here the Type-C USB connector, so it doesn't matter which way you will plug in your USB cable. Then we have a speaker, a microphone on the side, Then we have here the little slot where you can slide in two SIM cards in certain countries. Here in Germany you have just a single SIM card and a single micro SD card slot, and then on the other side you only have your volume rocker, since you have everything else on the back with the on and off switch and fingerprint reader. So again, here a beautiful camera, which is a 60 megapixel camera on this side with 4K video capabilities, but we have a secondary camera also with 8 megapixels for an even wider angle video or picture. You will see that in a second when I show you a little bit more about the software inside. In the middle you will find certain sensors, like for example laser focus. Then we have a flashlight and a little bit more sensors like face detection and so on. So you have all the sensors that you need for really fast autofocus here in the LG G5 phone. Otherwise, as I said, here you can remove the bottom part when you press this little button here. The bottom will pop out a little bit. So let me just do that. You can see now it would be easy to just take out the bottom part, but I don't want to turn off the phone, since if you just press it in a little bit, it still works, but you can just really easily click it back in. There you go. And then we can use the phone as it is. So we have also an 8 megapixel camera on the front, so it's also great for selfies. On the back I didn't mention the aperture, so we have f2.4 on the secondary 8 megapixel camera and an f1.8 on the first camera here on the LG G5, and on the front we have also an f2.0 aperture with the 8 megapixel full HD camera, so it's also great to shoot selfies. So if we unlock the phone or we don't unlock the phone just right away, here you can see the beautiful animation. But if you want to, for example, right away use the camera, the phone, or for example even Google search via voice, you can do that also right away here. So I could just do this. Catch me if you can.
Here's some information about Catch Me If You Can.
So for example, you can see that right away from the lock screen on the home screen, you can easily just search, phone, or use the camera. So if you just unlock the phone, you will get to the home menu or just the home screen where you have your different apps, and LG does not really install that many bloatware apps, so that's quite great. If you just go here into the app drawer, you can see that there's just a few apps pre-installed, which are not too many. Then we have a few folders with the Google apps, and there's also some special LG apps like the LG Backup app. We have also an FM radio built in. We also need a remote, obviously, for the infrared sensor. And then I have some apps that I installed, like for example Antutu, so I can show you guys a little bit of demonstration of how fast the phone is, and that this is really one of the fastest phones out there, since we have a Qualcomm Snapdragon 820 processor inside, the fastest processor by the premium processor or chip maker. Also we have a 5.3-inch screen with 2560 times 1440 pixel resolution, which is quite high. It's the same resolution as the G3 and the G4 had, and also the same resolution as Samsung built in their S7, S6, and I think even their S5 phone. I'm not sure, but actually, yeah, LG and Samsung are actually on the same bandwagon when it comes to display resolution. But it's a little bit smaller here with 5.3 inches only compared to a Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge, which has the same size, which has a 5.7-inch screen as far as I remember. And we will do a little bit of more comparison, for example, of the camera later, where the LG G5 will definitely shine. But before we go into the camera, the most interesting feature, let's just go here into a game called Asphalt 8, which I played actually before hand on my other languaged test or review videos. And if I just hit here on continue, we can just drive on here. Even though I haven't had the app open for more than an hour, you can see that the graphics are nice, and the 4 gigs of RAM help the game definitely when it comes to loading times, and also obviously for the game quality. And you can see here how beautiful also my crash looked like, and everything is running quite smoothly, quickly and nicely here on the LG G5. But I'm not that concentrated right now on the driving, so let's just go out again and let's show you, for example, some other game that needs always a little bit longer to load, called Relic Run of the Tomb Raider series, which is a free temple run kind of like game. It always wants to connect to my Google account, but I won't let it, so let's just say back and back. And I know some menus here in German, since the first setup I did was in German, but actually the operating system right now is English, so I probably have to delete the apps and re-download them to just have the different language, which doesn't matter that much right now to me. I don't want to add an account, so let's just run it a little bit. You can see the loading time was quite fast. Everything runs nice and smooth. It's looking good, and then we're almost through with the tutorial here in the beginning, and then we can continue with the benchmarks and show you a little bit that really the game, or not the game, just the phone, is one of the fastest out there right now and has a really great performance. Since we already ran the Antutu benchmark, you can see here that we scored 126,000 points, which is really a lot thanks to the Snapdragon 820 and the 4 gigs of RAM. You can see we are in the top 6 position. LG G5 128,000. Right now we had 126, so it varies obviously when you run the test a little bit more often. The iPhone's a little bit faster maybe, but they have also a smaller display resolution, so the picture is not that nice actually. And also the S7 Edge has 134,000 with the same processor, or the Exynos processor, which both run about the same speed. And then we have also the Xiaomi Mi 5, which has also the Snapdragon 820 inside, which is also a little bit faster. So the LG G5 could be maybe with some software updates even faster, or in the top 3 categories here, but I mean, it's, I think, definitely enough for anything. You can see it also, it runs quite smoothly. You can do anything you want. There's a lot of apps running in the background right now. You can see it here, there's quite a list, so it's definitely not a slow phone when it comes to speed. Let's check out a little bit here the menu, because the first time you will use the device, you will probably have all of these features here enabled, and you just don't have that much space here for your notifications, which I definitely hate. So all you have to do is tap this little pencil here, and on the bottom you can disable, for example, the volume, screen sharing and file sharing options. Brightness you can leave on. That's what I usually do because I like to change the brightness here a little bit, but if you just leave it on auto, you can also delete here the brightness section, because you can also just set everything up right from the settings. Also, you can obviously change here these quick shortcuts, or go into the settings and change also your fingerprint settings and everything else that you might want. So you can see it's a nice little long menu, which you can also see in a tab view. For a few people that's a little bit better to just be able to have these different little settings in different areas here, which I don't like that much. I like to have the whole list in one. But more about that in my tips and tricks video. So now we will just continue with the camera. So the camera is right here. I'm in the Pro mode right now, which I will exit. Give me just a second here. So settings, and then somewhere there is the possibility here to switch between auto and manual. So in the auto mode, you can see that right now we have the wide angle view on, so you can see my notebook here on the table with a few specs that I read, then the phones that I've shown before, and then a few other things that are on the table here. But with the wide angle view, you also have the problem here that it's not that straight. For example, for straight lines, you can see it here on the bottom for the LG G5 box. It's not a straight line, it's just really here a little bit curved. But if you select the regular view, you can see that the view is definitely not as great to look at. It's not wide angle, but wide angle for concerts or anything to take pictures. It's really awesome. And also to take videos, wide angle is amazing. I love this feature. I will show you a video later, or check out my video on my German site where I upload all the camera review videos. So if you go into the settings, you can select between different display sizes or picture sizes, and also if you want to shoot in 4K, Full HD or just HD. I always select 4K because the quality is just great, and otherwise if you slide through here there's a lot of other features, or you can just select the front camera, where you can see I'm recording this video right now not with my G4 but with a new Panasonic 4K camera, and you can also see if I take the phone a little bit further away, me in the picture. So the front camera is also quite good in wide angle, but I can actually show you a few pictures or videos here, sample videos. For example, you can see here that's a front camera sample video I have on my German channel here. This is just a picture where I could even zoom in now with the 16 megapixel resolution here on the flowers that still look quite alright, a little bit washed out, but also here a few details above my eye. Those are also still quite sharp, even though that's really a quite tiny detail right there. Then a few other shots from my garden looking quite good, and then I have a video here with the wide angle 4K resolution, which not only looks amazing but is especially amazing when we go close up to this little flower here again, where you can see a GoPro kind of like resolution and feeling, with just seeing everything like with the real eye, but you can see the lines are not as straight as they could be. So let's continue here. More pictures, and here I have a picture that I've taken also with the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. So for comparison, this is 12 megapixel versus 16, obviously, but the megapixels are not everything. If you just go a little bit closer into the details of a flower, for example, you can see that maybe the LG has a better camera, but I'm not sure. It just depends probably also where the focus was. So if I just look at the picture regularly, both look quite beautiful, but the colors are a little bit different since there's different sensors inside for both phones and obviously different technologies, but I cannot complain about any of either of these phones. So to just show a little bit more of the device, obviously we have more pictures going on, but what I want to show you is, for example, maybe also something that I didn't like for example, if I go into the gallery and if I go into the camera section, you can see here everything that I've just shown you before. But for example, if I have multiple pictures here, to delete multiple pictures, usually you just have to long press one and then you could select multiple pictures. This is not possible here. Also, if I go here into the settings, I can move, copy, rotate, slideshow, make a collage log and show logged files, but there's no option to select multiple files to delete. I can also just like slide my finger here through these, so this is all not possible. I can make this space a little bit smaller so I can see more pictures on one page, which is awesome, which I would wish Apple would also do, for example. But if I just download the Google photo apps or app, for example, I can easily maybe handle the pictures I took, so that's all right. That's nothing that I worry too much about. Also, if you just check out the keyboard, for example, it's still quite easy to use, fast and precise. And otherwise, as I said, the whole system is running quite quick, is fun to use, and I have no complaints about anything right now, but there will be a tips and tricks videos showing you a little bit more about the phone itself. What maybe some people are interested in though is the battery, which is also quite good on the phone, 2800 milliamps. That can be, as I said, extended, for example, with something like the Cam Plus little LG friend, which is an adapter which has the same ports but has here a dedicated camera button, dedicated video button, a zoom here on the side wheel, and just gives you an extra 1200 milliamps. Also, not only gives you a better grip on the back and makes the phone a little bit thicker, so this would be the extra thickness on the back, but I have a separate video about this from the Mobile World Congress where you can check out more about the camera grip. So if you check the battery usage, you can see, if I just turn it this way again, that most of the battery was consumed by the screen, phone idle and Gmail, then a little bit of Antutu, but that's actually it. So actually the screen is draining most of the battery, but I still have a lot left. And if you just tap the screen, you can also see that I've had the screen on for 1 hour and 11 minutes, and otherwise, I have not been using the phone for the last week, I think, so I have not plugged in it for a long time, so it's still quite alright. You can see here how the battery just was draining today, actually, because I just did a few review videos, but the screen always being on and a little bit of gaming, but otherwise the battery lasts quite good. So you can definitely get through the day here with the LG G5 if you have 4G all the time on and just don't play all day long. So thank you much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe again. This was the LG G5 in my full review. I hope you got a little bit of an overview over the phone. I love the phone in terms of camera, in terms of design. The screen could be a little bit bigger with a lot of space here wasted on the top, if you ask me, or even though the infinity design of the screen looks quite good here with the little edge to the top, and also the battery could be still a little bit bigger for this big phone, and also the bottom part, I wish this would be also just with Android buttons externally, not on the screen, so I can use the screen space a little bit better. So till next time, thank you much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. My name is Balazs, and this was the LG G5 full review.